Welcome to Gusto Reactions once again. We've got Lala right here in the building, and he's still putting on the Gusto.
Please, let me tell you,
Olamide is the one, though.
He's not even know what I want to say. You don't catch yourself, no problem.
What do you want to?
I don't talk about it again.
Okay, no wahala. Today we move on to a couple of artists: Tiwa Savage, Olamide, Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido. These guys in the past couple of months have dropped major body of work. Like, it's been quite amazing. Wizkid with Made in Lagos.
Yeah, very amazing.
Amazing album. In its first 1 month, did a lot of numbers and all of that. And then Burna Boy with Twice as Tall, and Tiwa Savage with Celia. Olamide with Carpe Diem.
Yes,
these are major guys who have done quite a lot with their album. I mean, these guys, when you talk about singles, they do their thing.
Yes,
albums, they do their thing as well. Now, all over again, Lala, how would you rate all of these albums?
Well, it's been good for the culture because there's been a lot of music to consume. That's the positive. There's been a lot of music to consume, and a lot of people, have enjoyed majority of these albums that are dropped. The only downside to that is there's been a lot of competition and a lot of dope songs just fly under and miss people. Just because there's so many songs to consume. Last year was very hectic, not just for consumers, even for us in the media space. Remember when we would have what's it called, our Friday show, Gusto New Music Friday. We could wake up one Friday and then there's like 3 albums or
already,
2
and you have to
that we used to listen to and then pick. So it was hectic. So I'm not gonna lie, but then we enjoyed it because there was a lot of songs, content for people to work with. So
these guys are, apart from being the albums and everything, before the albums they released lead singles. Tiwa Savage, Koroba, and Dangerous Love. Wizkid with Reckless and Smile. Olamide with Triumphant. There's the one we did, Green Light, actually.
Green Light
and Eru. Were lead singles too. The album. Burna Boy did his thing with Wonderful. Davido, of course, we know also did his thing as well.
Femme and
the rest towards the album. These guys have done their thing. Now, those singles leading to the album were really, really amazing. Do you think any of the singles helped the albums in any way?
Of course, if you drop a single and then, for example, when you drop it and people see it as a hit, they want to see more.
The album.
They want to anticipate the album and see more of you. So, if you're going to drop a single, it has to be one of the hot songs on the album. And you must have more than one hot song on the album. So
who won on this one?
For the album?
Lead singles leading to the album. Who do you think won?
I would say Davido.
Femme.
Yes, Davido's Femme was, it came out at the time where there's a lot of troubles in the land. And it became the national anthem.
Anthem everywhere.
Burna Boy's Wonderful before Wonderful, he had Odogo.
Didn't make the album.
Odogo didn't make the album. Then Wonderful leading to the album had a lot of criticism that, it was trying too much to sound like an African. The Pan-Africanism in the song was forced and things like that. But I still feel it's a good song. It's a hit song, and I like it.
Wizkid Smile and No Stress?
Well, Wizkid had the less of the reception on these. No Stress. People were still trying to make up their mind that, is this what we're going to? Is this the Wizkid we're going to be listening to now? Smile and No Stress. He also broke. I think this was after the album. He tried to break the internet with the video for Smile, which he did. A lot of people loved it and all that. But in terms of singles, in terms of acceptance of these singles leading towards an album, I feel Davido. I also want to shout out Tiwa Savage because I think Koroba also did really well. The dance video still resonates in my head. I still love what I saw back then. Okay,
so a lot of these artists right now are beginning to move on, to other things. But Davido already said, he's dropping video for Lala. A new single might drop very soon. Tiwa Savage gone to Miami, might drop a new single as well. Olamide has said, another album they drop June 14th. Another album is dropping. Burna Boy is dropping a new single in a couple of days.
Kilo.
You understand? So already these guys are moving on. But Wizkid is still very much stuck with Made in Lagos. And someone on Twitter has come out to say, Omo, Wizkid, after 6 months, is still promoting the Made in Lagos album.
Yeah.
Do not let anybody deceive you that albums are not what people want to hear, but singles. So basically, someone out reply say, Omo, you should know right now that it's an album market, not singles market anymore. Lala, do you agree with that?
Well, it depends on how you see it. It's an album market. Yes, that's because these guys know their major source of income right now post-COVID, because sometimes they don't get shows as they used to.
Yeah.
The other means of getting your income level up is by releasing more songs. So if you release singles, yes, it goes up a bit. But if you release more than one song, you release an album, an EP, that means your fans and people are like have a bunch of songs to work with. And then the more songs you drop, the more streams they get, the more money you make. Everybody understands that because it's post-COVID era. Shows are not coming like they used to. Rats is not sounding like rat again. So things like that. So I feel that's what it is. But that still doesn't mean people are still not playing the singles game. People are still playing the singles game. There's a certain Belashmoda who's still doing the singles game. And it's been successful at it. So it's not bulletproof or counterproof that yes, it's definitely an album beam. If you're not doing albums, you're not making it. I don't think the industry is entirely album right now. We've had a lot of album that has come into play since last year, 2020, like July, August, and thereabout. Had a lot of albums to do it. Everyone knows there's downside and there's upside to it. The upside to it is yes, you make more money in the interim, but the downside is the competition is a lot. And if you're not lucky to release your album at the right time, you end up, I mean, some of your hit songs will just fly under the carpet without people realizing it.
If it's an album, if you say the singles, it's still the singles game with Belashmoda and everything. So why exactly is everyone rushing to release the album? I mean, Peruzzi just released one.
You say Peruzzi rush?
No, he just released one. Lekon, Black Bones, these guys are like almost everybody wants to. It seems if you don't have an album right now, or if you are not a proper artist.
No, I don't think so. I think it's a function of the period when they've started their journey as artists, and people started to get to know them. Obviously, if people are starting to get to know you, that means you have a fan base that you built, and they are able to service whatever project you come up with, be it an EP or an album. So I don't think people like Black Bones, been a long time. I don't know the last Black Bones album.
2019?
2019, and that's 2 years ago. That's a long time. Lekon,
never.
He had the EP.
He had an EP, but
before, the EP got popularity when he was in Big Brother House. And then he's come out, he has a huge fan base. What does he do? He's dropped singles. He's dropped videos of his last EP. I think the most commendable thing, the most right thinking thing to do is drop an album, which is exactly what he's doing. And I think off camera we've had this discussion about shouldn't this guy be capitalizing on this thing as early as possible, and he's doing that right now. Some of these other guys, a lot of these other young cats that you see, they've not had debut projects, they are working towards it, or some have even had debut projects, but they need to consolidate on it. Starboy has had 2 albums in 2 years, and this is before Starboy as well. This is before anyone would think, oh, are we in an album market? Starboy had 2 albums. Starboy, Oxlade had EPs. All these young guys have had projects. I think I should see that something that is standard for each musician, regardless of where you come from. You should have a project. You should work towards having a project. You should build your catalog. You shouldn't just have singles. The only person who's done that for a long time, was successful at it, is Techno. And by the time he dropped the album, it flopped. So it flopped. So it's not like everybody pushes a single narrative every time, but I think maybe we're overlooking. It's just because a lot of these albums came out around the same period.
But many albums are still coming out. Don't you think album is becoming the norm?
No, how many has come out now? Since post-COVID, the only person who said to drop a second album since post-COVID is what's his name? Burna Boy. Who said yes, another album is coming. That's post-COVID.
Olamide as well.
And Olamide, and maybe perhaps Fireboy. So and these are just 3 artists. There's hundreds of Nigerian musicians who are still doing their singles thing to date. It makes sense for you to build your catalog maybe perhaps if you're gunning for some awards or anything, or it makes sense to be your catalog to at least increase your income, because if shows are not coming, songs are those things that can make you money. So as a musician, why not release the songs?
Okay, well, as we round up, Lala, these guys, you say, dropping albums to increase the money, revenue, and everything. Yeah. So this album thing, is it as a case of being creative or just because of wanting to make more money? Is it about the money that's turned this into an album game, or because strategy-wise, creativity-wise?
Well, I mean, the society plays a part. I mean, there was the idea back then that you have to have singles that blow before you now start thinking about album. But off the bat, we are seeing people releasing projects off the bat without even having a fan base, and they are just pushing one song and hoping that it just falls through to the other songs and everything. So I think it's a function of what the industry is right now. Yeah. I'm not saying entirely what the guy is saying is wrong. A lot of albums are coming out, which is true, but you have to think about why. The reason is a lot of these guys are not making money as they used to. The reason that can make them money, foolproof way of making them money, is having more songs, having more projects on board. And then as a musician, what are you doing 365 days a year? You can record 100 songs in 365 days a year. So do you want to hold the 100 songs, or you want to just drop it and as an EP or as an album? Yeah, that's their job to start with. So I won't say they are doing it specifically for the money, but it's their job to drop singles, to drop albums. I see it as something normal.
Well, quite enlightening right there from Lala. Guys,
and confusing.
Exactly. No, it wasn't confusing. It wasn't confusing, but Lala, I said, well, still a singles game.
It's normal.
Of course, also albums, normal, singles, normal. Guys, what do you think about that particular one? Is it still a singles game or an album game right now? What do you think? Wizkid, of course, still promoting that one, made in Lagos, while other artists are moving on to the next one. Put your comment down below. Let's have your thoughts. Guys, thank you so much for liking and sharing, subscribing, even telling your friends about what we do right here at Gusto TV. We love you, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yes.
Peace.